scene starts off with Banquo speaking to himself. He realizes that Macbeth has become Thane of Cawdor, Glamis, and has also become king. But he knows, somewhere inside of him, that Macbeth must have been responsible for the murdering of Duncan, as he says, "Thou playedst most foully for it." But Banquo clearly remembers the witch's saying that his sons will become king, and not Macbeth's sons. Banquo's thoughts come to an abrupt stop as Macbeth, who has now already become king, and his wife, Lady Macbeth, enters into the scene along with Lennox, Ross, and some other lords, ladies, and attendants. Macbeth and Lady Macbeth greet Banquo with utmost hospitality, or so it seems at least. Macbeth calls Banquo his most important guest, and the two invite him to a dinner celebration. Banquo humbly says, "Let your highness command me." Banquo then says that he will be going horse riding this afternoon with his son, Fleance. Expecting to come back in time for the dinner celebration, Banquo exits the scene. At this point, Macbeth tells everyone to meet with him at 7 o'clock for supper and dismisses everyone except his servant. He asks his servant in a rather vague manner if the men are waiting for him, and then goes on to command his servant to bring the men. When he is left alone, he has a moment to reveal some of his thoughts.
To be thus is nothing, but to be safely thus. Our fears in Banquo stick deep. In his royalty of nature reigns that which would be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that doth guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked.
Macbeth reveals that the only person that he is worried about now is Banquo, the ever-so-righteous friend of his, who was unfortunately present with him when the witches foretold all their prophecies. Macbeth then goes on to realize that he had to bear the burden of becoming a murderer, and that after his hard work, it would end up being Banquo's son who might become a king. This is something he does not want to settle for. No, he challenges fate and takes on destiny by saying,
"Rather than so, come fate into the list and champion me to the utterance."
At this point, we find out that the men that Macbeth was looking for are actually potential assassins. The servant and the murderers enter the room. Macbeth tells the two murderers that Banquo had ruined their lives in the past, and that he wishes for Banquo and his son Fleance to be killed. He confirms if they are properly motivated to kill Banquo and Fleance, and then, in satisfaction, he tells them that he'll give them information about Banquo's whereabouts tonight.
Your spirits shine through you. Within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourself, acquaint you with the perfect spy of the time.
With the murderers waiting for Macbeth's cue, Macbeth opens up some of his final thoughts.
"'Tis concluded, Banquo. Thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight."